Hello guys, I'm Joe from J.C.DESIGN and welcome to my first tutorial in Photoshop. The Photoshop I'm using at the minute is CS6. I'm not sure if you guys have CS6, but I think all the older versions are pretty much set up in the same way, so you'll be able to follow along with my video. Today I'm going to be covering the layers palette and how the layers work. Just very basic. It's not going to be a long video, and this kind of section is just kind of just for intermediate level and kind of people just learning Photoshop. I'm just going to take you over the interface of Photoshop. If you've never used Photoshop before, this might help some people out and just tell you what certain things do. So I'm going to get started here and just take you over to, you have the menu tab here, which is pretty much like any other program. You have like File, Save As, you can open all your documents from here. You've got Edit, you can kind of copy and paste. There's lots of other settings in here which are for more advanced people, and I'm not really going to cover that in this video. You've got Layer, you've got Flatten Image. That's particularly interesting for your layers. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. You've got layer masks, vector masks, a bit more advanced, so maybe in a later video, not in this tutorial. And you've got kind of like window, all your different kind of boxes. So you've got color. So if I click on color, it disappears from here. So what we're going to be focusing on today is the layers. So I'm just going to take everything off and then just leave the layers on, because I don't want you to get confused with all the other stuff. And if you look to the left hand side, you've got all your different tools here. This is called the tools palette or the toolbox. This is pretty much where all your tools are located to operate Photoshop. You've got your brushes. Not selected a layer there. So you've got your brushes here. Pick a color first. You've got your brush, and you can just brush colors on. You can also change the colors by going down into the little color box here, double clicking and then changing over, and then you can pick all your different colors here. I'll just undo that. You have your move tool. There's nothing on the screen yet, so I can't move anything. You've got your marquee tool. You can cut things out. If you press Control and C and then Control and V, you can make duplicates of whatever you're cutting out. But like I say in this video, I'm not going to cover this in detail. This is mainly just for the layers. You've got your lasso tool. You can cut things out, like if it's kind of an odd shape. Crop tool, can crop stuff. Ink dropper, you can select kind of the color. This is the first time I'm using CS6, by the way, and this is all new to me. I don't know what that big circle is. I guess that's the area that you're coloring. Oh well. And you've got your pen tool, which is quite a useful tool if you want to cut like exact shapes out and make shapes and stuff, and masks around shapes. So yeah. Anyway, we'll get on to what this video is actually about, which is the layers. Over here, I've turned off all the other elements here because I don't want you to get confused. But if you look here, you've got layers. This is your layer box here, and primarily it would be kind of down here, and then you'd have two of the boxes above. But for the purposes of the tutorial, I just want you to focus on the layers at the moment. So I've already loaded an image in, which is of a cathedral. This isn't an image I just took off Google, by the way. This is an image my girlfriend took while she was traveling around Europe. I like this picture. It's kind of got good contrast and stuff. But what I basically want to show you is how the layers work. So the layers work in this way. In CS6, but in most of the other Photoshops like CS5, CS4, it usually drops in just the image by itself, so it won't have a background image. This would be the background image, but in CS6 it already has the background image. So if you take off so these eyes here are the kind of whether you can view it, or it's like it indicates the layer visibility. So at the moment it's turned off, so all I can see is the background layer, which is the white box. And if I turn that off, there's nothing in the screen, and it brings up this kind of chessboard kind of pattern. So we'll just turn those back on. And at the moment we've got two layers. We've got a background and an image layer. So if we wanted to kind of draw on the image, maybe let's say we just wanted to, I don't know, just kind of maybe draw a sign or something. This is very crude, by the way. So we drew a sign there. But the thing that we've done is we've drawn on the actual image, and we can't move that about, and we can't adjust it or change the scale of it. So this is where layers come very, very useful. So if I just delete that, and then I make a new layer. If you want to make a new layer, you can go down to this little button here. You can click, and it'll make a new layer above the layer that you were already selected, or above the layer that's behind it, if you know what I mean. So I've got a new layer here, and I've made a new layer, and there's nothing happening because this layer has a transparency. It's like the background layer. So if I take those off, it's just an empty box like that. But what that enables us to do is draw. Maybe we can draw a sign, and we can draw maybe a sign or a shape. And before we couldn't move it, we could only move it with the image. But because it's on a new layer now, we can move it around. We can also scale it by pressing Ctrl and T, and then scale it up, scale it down, scale it up, and we can change all the different variables of it. And we can kind of add effects to it. If you want to add effects to a specific layer, if you double click on the layer, and then you can add a drop shadow and various other things like that. Good thing about layers as well is that you can actually name your layers. So if, let's say, I had lots of these different ones here, and I didn't know which one was which, you got to turn them off and stuff like that, you can actually label them up. So if we just click this one here, we can call that sign 1, and then that one would be sign, move that over there. This one would be sign 2, and this one would be sign 3, and this one would be sign 4. Sign 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we can easily select each layer. So if we want sign 1, we just click on sign 1, and then we can move sign 1. If we want sign 2, we just click on sign 2, and we can move sign 2. Pretty basic. But let's say you had like maybe 2 of these. So if you want to select all the layers, just click on the top layer and then hit shift, and then go down to the layer go through all the layers that you want to select, and then click, and it will select all the layers. And then if you want to duplicate those layers, right click on the mouse button, and it'll bring up a tab like this and say duplicate layers. Just click OK on there, and now you've got double of what those are. But let's say you had a lot of these, and we'll just move these off here. So we've got a lot now, and so we've got a lot of these, and we want those separate from these ones. So what you can do is what you did before, is shift and then select through what you want to select, and then press Ctrl and G, and that will group all of those layers in a new group. So we can call this sign new, and then we can group the old ones, shift and select through all, and then Ctrl and G, and then sign old. So now, without having to do, selecting all of them there, all you have to do is you just click on the actual group and you can move them about. And if you want to move individual ones, you can click this little arrow button here, go down, click on the one that you want to move, and then there you go. So it's a good way to organize your layers, and it's once you have a piece which is quite complex and you have lots of layers going on, this is a very good way to kind of organize your work and your workflow. Um, Also, another thing with layers is you can actually apply masks to the layers. What I mean by that is you can select a layer, and then if you go down to this, and then you can apply a mask. So a mask basically is it's kind of an adaptable kind of, well, it's a mask basically. You can I'll just demonstrate it. So what layer have we got there? We've got that one. So if we wanted to erase it, but we wanted to make sure that we kind of kept it, so we could erase like the bottom bit here. But what I'm doing is I'm putting a mask over it. I'm not actually erasing the object. For example, if we take this link off and then we click on the object, we can move the object within the mask. So there's just a mask here. You can also move the mask as well and put this over, kind of like put this over here and then move the object and kind of. So I mean, obviously this applies to what you're doing and what project you're doing, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just kind of showing you basically how they work. So you have your mask. Your mask is the white box, and I'm not. So yeah, that's basically how you apply a mask. You can apply masks to all of these different objects. So yeah, guys, this is a really quick video, just explaining the layers palette. I'm going to go into more detail of how these things work and the opacity and things like this in other videos. I don't want to kind of bombard you with information. So I really hope this has helped you and you can apply to your own projects. Please subscribe to my channel, or if you're viewing on my website, or if you're stuck on anything, just give me a comment in the comment box and I'll be happy to make a video about it. So yeah, guys, you have a good day and I'll see you around.